now that we know that this home should relatively sell between about 151,000 to about 157,000 once they have put all their renovations in, we need to consider and have the conversation of what this might look like in a forward moving market. Most of these comps were on the back end of the 6-month kind of time frame that we use because that's what's available to us. Now, in the coming months, this could change. However, if we are getting comps in this number range back 5-6 months ago, then the likelihood of them going down is about this big. It's much more likely that these numbers are going to go up because of interest rates and different things like that. There's other homes that have been purchased that are in bad shape that I know this is what they're doing. They're buying them, they're fixing them, and then they're reselling them. So in the coming months, we're actually going to have more comparables, but they're going to be using some of ours as well, so that we used. So at the end of the day, they're likely actually going to be able to get a little bit closer to probably the 160s, maybe even the 170s, especially if they do a little bit more quality work to add to the actual value of the home once it's been completed. So, but their baseline is that we truly feel like that no matter what, we should be able to get between 150 and 155 if we're just staying real safe with our numbers. Now, based off of that information, if they are able to obtain this house between $50,000 and $70,000 and be able to put in, say $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 of work, then they stand to make a substantial amount. Now, the question is it a big enough gap of what they are going to profit to make it worth their time? My clients are not big corporations. They don't have a crew that can come in and whip this thing up in 3 months. They do this themselves. They hire contractors when needed. They do these things on sometimes 6 months, year and a half, just depending what problems they come across as they go through the process. So for them, it is very, very important that they can make as much on the back end as possible, because at the end of the day, they are taking a longer time. They are taking on this property longer than a corporation who's going to come in and do it. Not to mention, my client has a tendency to live in these houses at times. She works out of town and comes into town to work. They have other properties here that they're working on. They have a vacation home here. He just bought some land to be able to put all of his stuff on for when he tinkers with his boats and things like that. So they do spend a lot of time down here. So a lot of times they will actually stay in the property while they're renovating it and utilize it for her work down here as well, because this house is actually going to be closer to her job than the vacation house that they have that they are still renovating as well. So there's a lot of factors for them, and each client is so different. Their needs, their wants, their, what they're going to take out of this at the end. So it's really important to understand that. So if your realtor is asking 1,000,001 questions, this could be why, especially when it comes to investor clients. This could be the pinnacle of why they need to ask 1,000 questions to make sure they are guiding you in the direction that really is going to be the best suited for you. My name is Morgan with Morgan Rountree Realtor Real Estate. I help people buy up and down the Georgia East Coast, all over the place. And this is what I do for buyers and sellers when looking to list a house, or if they want to buy a house, or if they want to buy a house and renovate and see what it's going to be like to sell it in the end. At the end of the day, it's a very personal choice. We ask a lot of questions to help you the best that we absolutely can. So if you have questions, if this is intriguing to you, if you want to see more comparables ran, if you're in the area, let me know. I'll be happy to do yours for you. You can see what your house might be worth on the open market. But this is all subjective. It really is. But even an appraisal is subjective. So this is the way that we use this data to figure out where we need to be, what the market is looking like, and how we can guide you through this process so that you're not coming up with appraisal issues and you're not coming up with mass problems as far as your pricing goes, because pricing can be an absolute deal killer, especially if you throw in an appraisal issue when they do have an appraisal contingency. So just follow along and be happy to help and answer any questions. Like I said, if you want to know about your address and you're anywhere in the state of Georgia, I can run Georgia comps, but especially if you're localized to Chatham County, Liberty, Bryan, McIntosh, kind of that coastal area, I'd be happy to run them and show you what they look like.